Okay, we're looking forward to big ball game Saturday night, 7:45. And obviously a couple of teams with the same record right now. And obviously a lot on the line for us. We're trying to win the state championship, and they're trying to win it also. And of course, they got a big game the following week, and we don't. So that's a little bit of a difference in the situation we're both in. We do have the same record, of course, and both teams, I'm sure, will be excited to play, and hopefully we'll play a good one. We've had a few guys get nicked up the last game. Hopefully all of them will be available. Maybe one or two will not sure yet. So that would be a weekly decision as we go as to if their health is ready to play. But other than that, we're looking forward to the game and seeing if we can get 10 wins around here. Doesn't happen a lot. Got a chance. So got a lot to play for, and we're looking forward to the game Saturday night. I'm sure our fans will be screaming and yelling and ready to go. So hopefully the home field advantage will kick in for us this week. All right, any questions on anything?
How many healthy bodies are you going to have a linebacker this week, you know?
Well, right now they're all tentative, and we're hoping that most of them will be cleared by the time the game gets here Saturday. 2 or 3 of them probably won't practice much this week. Hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday they'll be able to do some. So right now I don't think any of them are definitely ruled out. I don't think they are. Reggie Bowens, Quinn, Quay, I think they're all Shaq, yeah, but none of them have been ruled out yet. We're hurting there a little bit.
Steve, the fact that both teams are 9-2, one has won a divisional title. You were right in the mix for the SEC East title. What does that do to raise the national profile of this rivalry?
Well, it helps both schools. It helps our state. You know, if we were both 11-0, that'd be even better. But we're both 9-2. I guess they've lost a couple of conference games. We lost a couple of conference games, and it worked out. Of course, they're the division winner, and ours didn't work out. You know, we had another team go 7-1, so we didn't win ours. But yeah, I think it's neat for our state that we got 2 teams in the top 25 about all year, and occasionally in the top 15. And of course, they've been in the top 10, I guess, until this past week. And in fact, last week I was reading some articles from you guys in here about how they still going to win the national championship. That was only a week ago. So they've had a super year. Obviously didn't have a very good game last week, but they're a very talented team and very capable of scoring a bunch of points against everybody they play. So we got to really try to control the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage on both sides if we're going to have a chance to beat them here Saturday night.
Steve, you weren't too happy with your kickoff coverage last week or a couple of weeks before. They had Sammy Watkins, obviously a very good kickoff. How do you plan to approach him and in the kicking game?
Well, obviously we're not going to put our game plan out there to read, but we're going to hope that the special teams don't beat us again this week. Not that Arkansas beat us through special teams, but they did run one back untouched. So we've just got to be careful. And we got to be careful. If we have to kick a few grounders out there, that's what we'll have to do.
Back to room over here. All right, now Sammy Watkins isn't the best route runner. He gets a lot of his touches on bubbles and X screens and underneath routes. Do you plan on being more, I guess, aggressive and physical with him at the line of scrimmage?
I don't know exactly the best way to always contain a great receiver. Sometimes you zone behind them, and sometimes you bump and run, give a little help. But he's very good player. I didn't know he wasn't a great route runner. I thought he's pretty good at everything he does. And obviously he can return kicks and go the distance. Very talented young man to have his size, and I think he was the 200-meter champ in the state of Florida. They got some fast kids down in Florida, so that shows you the type of speed he possesses. But we'll hopefully have a plan similar to whatever's been working against them. mostly it's rushing the quarterback. That's how you stop every good passing team is rush the quarterback, put pressure on him, and so forth.
Coach, I know you talked about getting that 10th win, but just how big would it be to not only beat all your Eastern Division rivals, beat Clemson, and then set yourself up for yet an 11-win season?
Well, we'll worry about all that if it happens. We're going to try to figure out the best way to win the game Saturday night. Offense, defense, special teams, and that's the only thing we need to worry about right now. All those other things take care of themselves. We realize we're very fortunate to be in the position we're in right now. We've won almost all of our close games this year, all but one. So we've had good fortune, had very good fortune this year. We're not a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but we are 9-2. I was sort of peeking back at how some of our opponents have been doing this year, and I noticed East Carolina's 5-6, and Navy's 4-7 right now. A couple of teams we struggled with early in the year. But anyway, we are where we are right now, and we feel fortunate to be here, and hopefully our team will really be excited to play Saturday night.
Steve, what do you remember about recruiting Andre Ellington, your impressions of him as a player, and then the opportunities that you've gotten to see him play since he's been in college, just your thoughts on him and how he's developed?
I think he committed early, didn't he? Did he visit here? No, he didn't visit here. So I don't remember recruiting him at all.
What about just him as a player now that he's in
Oh,
college?
he's an excellent player. He's a talent. There's no question about that. He's fast, quick, and can make guys miss. Oh, he's a very talented running back. No question about that. And hopefully we're not going to give him a lot of holes up there.
Coach, what's your perspective on Clemson in view of the loss last week?
Well, like I mentioned, and you guys were mentioning at this time last week, Tuesday or Wednesday, I was reading articles how they could still win the national championship. You know, if this happened, this happened, this happened. I don't know which one of our local guys wrote it, but somebody wrote it from somewhere. And so that's where they were last week. So they haven't dropped that far. I know they had a lousy game last week, but this is a very good team. They didn't win 9 games and win a lot of them with a lot of scoring accidentally. So we've got to really play well if we're going to have a chance to beat these guys. I mean, they're 1 week away from, right there in what were they, number 7 or 8 last week, something like that. So I know they had a bad game last week, but they're very, very capable.
Steve, given these two teams have met 108 times, are you surprised this is just the fourth time they've both been ranked going into this game?
It is interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. But obviously, we all know our history around here. We know their history. And we were watching the tape earlier today and showed the scoreboard. And gosh, they must have 12 or 15 ACC championships over the years. How many they got, Bart? You should know.
I should know, but I don't.
And they got them stacked up on that wall there. They got them stacked up. I said,
Been a
man,
while.
these guys have got some tradition here now, because they do. They got them stacked up. And of course, I can remember just my days at Duke. When you played Clemson, they were always the favorite in the ACC. I think every year I was there. Didn't win it every year, but they were probably a preseason pick most of the time because they were just a dominant team in the conference so often.
None since '91.
Been a while since they put one up there, huh? Now they got a chance this year.
First 8 games, Clemson really was taking care of the football, put a lot of points on the board. The last 3, they've turned the football over. Do you find that to be something that bleeds from one game to the next to the next? I mean, 11 turnovers in the last 3 games, is that something you're going to try to exploit when a team's confidence is down? You say, you know what, we can do some things that maybe we couldn't if they were clicking.
I don't know if you look at it like that. You try to hope that their bad plays continue and our good plays continue, and then you sort of hope that happens, but you don't really know that it will. Last week, going into the game last week, we were very good at getting loose balls and fumbles, and we were 0 for 4. Clemson fumbled it 4 times and got every one of them back. So we weren't very good in that area. So each week, you don't know exactly how it's going to happen. You just try to prepare your guys and hopefully your guys will get themselves ready to be sharp and alert and play their best.
Steve, this year's senior class has had a pretty good run. Can you discuss the impact that these seniors have had on the program?
Yeah, they've done a good job. Travian Robertson, Melvin, a lot of guys. Terrence Campbell, another one of our seniors there in the line. Those guys have done a good job trying to provide leadership and keep the young guys pretty much in line, focused, and so forth. Yeah, it's neat to be the only team went back-to-back nine wins, hopefully a little bit more, and we realize the opportunities out there. So we're just going to try our best to keep playing as hard and smart as we can, and we'll see where we're at when it's all said and done after whatever bowl game we go to.
Steve, can you recall a season in coaching where you've had to deal with so many injuries and so much turmoil at places like quarterback, but have yet been so successful on the field?
I can't remember this many sort of key injuries to running backs with Marcus and Sean Carson and backup fullback Matt Coffey. We had 3 knees in the running back category. I never remember that many, really probably on the entire team. But again, we've got good quality backup players, and Brandon Wiles, of course, stepped in there and did very well. And if we've had some injuries at the other positions, the other guys have stepped in there. And we've, we haven't been overly impressive in a lot of wins, but well, I think it's neat that we're winning the close games now. We certainly haven't always done that around here. And I certainly haven't been winning all the close ones around here either. We've won a few, but we've won a little bit more than our share this year.
You've got a lot of first-year players when you playing. Do you worry about them understanding the rivalry, and do you see anything extra doing this week?
No, I think most of these guys grew up in South Carolina, so they know the rivalry of the two schools. I think, honestly, it might have been a little bit bigger for South Carolina when South Carolina was independent, and that was the one game of the year. Whereas now we're in a conference. About the last 20 years we've been in a conference, and conference play is important also. But at the end of the year, this turns into the biggest game. If you're not in the conference championship game, this becomes the biggest game of the year for us.
Steve, with this being the last game for the seniors, I'm wondering if you've had any conversations with the Garcia family and if they have any plans on coming in?
If we have or we haven't, we'll talk about that a little later. Okay.
Steve, you talked about the line of scrimmage. You guys are playing so many young players up there. When you have to, in a situation where you have to play freshmen and some true sophomores, start them on the offensive line, is that a bad place to be in? Would you rather get it to where you're moving guys in as juniors, et cetera?
Well, you can live with freshman offensive linemen if you don't throw the ball 40 times a game. If you're going to try to throw 40 a game, you might say, "Woo, what are we doing?" And we realize that's just not what we can do right now. So we have been able to run it pretty well, as you know. We've run the ball effectively. Not super. We don't have any long runs. I wish we could pop a 50 or 60 every now and then. Well, Connor did. I think Connor's got the longest run of the year last week. But running the ball gives you a chance, and our defense has played very well all year. And of course, we struggled against the triple option, which almost everyone does, it seems like. Somebody told me Georgia Southern ran for 300 yards against Alabama. Did y'all know that? So it makes it. I think Southern only got 276 against us, and they've been averaging 291. So maybe you look at it in perspective. They seem to. Those teams just seem to go up down the field when they play against teams that don't see it every week, I guess. But anyway, that game's behind us now, and we won't have to worry about that till we play Wofford next year. And they'll probably go up and down the field the way they usually have against us. But again, we don't have to worry about that till next year.
What are your thoughts on this trend of playing fast? There's like 40 or 50 teams that are doing it now, and when you look at them, it's it's not a magic elixir, you know. Some of them have bad records, some of them have good records, but
Yeah.
just your thoughts on sort of the idea of the trend.
I think it's certainly a way to be successful. It's not the only way. It's a way to score a lot of points, obviously. The other side is, you know, if you score quickly, then your defense has got to play a lot more. And that's the other side of it. But as we all know, there's all kind of different ways to win football, basketball, every sport really. And running the ball and playing very good defense and scoring touchdowns in the red zone is a very good way to win. If you can do it that way, or if you speed up and, you know, can win 56 to 49 or 45, that's another way to do it. And I think as coaches, you try to see what your players do best and put them in position that way to try to win the game that week.
What's that concern to you about your kicking game, particularly kickoff?
Yeah, we're pretty concerned about it. We've been concerned about our punting pretty much all year, and Joey Scrivener Howard has actually done a pretty good job. He doesn't punt it a long way too often, but he gets it out, and we've been okay in punting. Our kickoff coverage is embarrassing that we can't get a bunch of guys down there to sort of converge on the ball and keep them inside the 30. And we just miss a lot of tackles, and it seems like we go down there and get blocked a lot. But that's just sort of where we are in that area. I thought we would be better this year, and after the East Carolina game, we all thought maybe we'd be better. But it has not worked out. Coach Butler has an excellent scheme of things. I think he's an excellent coach, and we got to, next spring, we got to make a better effort of really, I know you're probably going to say, well, Coach, you said that a year ago, and I said, yeah, I did. Putting our starters on the special teams. It seems like we always get the backup guys, and they just don't quite do as well. But anyway, that's something we got to get our best athletes on special teams, guys who make tackles. You know, they just miss a lot of tackles out there at times, and we'll get blocked a lot. And I think right now we got 3 or 4 walking-on kids covering kickoffs because they seem to be the best we got for some reason. But anyway, that's something we got to work through these next 2 games and then readdress it before next season.
Steve, do you feel better coming off the game last week that your offense would possibly be capable of winning a shootout game this week against a team that, you know, doesn't put up a lot of points against people? Or is that sort of, you know, you take it for a grain of salt last week?
Well, certainly, Citadel, they had no pass rush, as you know. They brought the corner off the edge a couple times, so that was the only threat they had. But their kids played tough inside now. They played tough, and we couldn't knock them backwards at times. But we did have plenty of time if we elected to throw some passes. But Clemson's got some pass rushers now. They got some guys flying off the edges that will give us a lot of problems if we're trying to throw 40 times or something like that. So we got to be smart about how we try to throw the ball. We know that, and so it's maybe gave us a little confidence. We could hit a few balls here and there, but it wasn't a great passing game last week by any means. Even though 16 out of 18 sounds pretty good, we still didn't hit a lot of balls I thought we should have. And again, they didn't even get thrown. It's sometimes that you wish they would have. But I tell you one thing, the Connor running with the ball on that 4th and 9 was a huge play, and Brandon catching that ball on 3rd and 10 for 9 yards. I mean, we look back on that game. It was a lot closer than 41-20, as I'm sure all of you guys that were there will attest. It was a close game.
Coach, Demir Berg got what I think was his first kick return. Does he stand a chance to get back in there this week?
Yeah, we may put him back there. Yeah, Demir, gosh, we thought we would get more out of him or we'd be using him more, but again, that's another thing. It hadn't worked out. Alshon hadn't had as many balls thrown at him as we thought. Really none of those receivers have had a whole bunch of them. But that's just that's just the kind of team we are right now. And we're going to try to continue being the team we've been. So we're not going to change a lot of stuff. We are what we are for this season, and our guys have done an excellent job of playing well when the games are on the line. And that's the big reason we're 9-2.
Coach, when you're at Florida, was there a particular senior class maybe that set the tone for the success that went on later? And does this senior class here have that potential or enact to do something like that?
Well, I hope so. Actually, the first year at Florida, the players were there. I mean, I was very fortunate to step into the team just sitting there ready to go. And so that, I think we ended up 9-2 that year. And but anyway, we were able to pretty much continue as far as having a lot of good players. But they did, yeah. There was a lot of seniors on that first one, and then the second one also. But yeah, they showed a good example. But then it's up to the players really on their own. I don't know if you can learn leadership. I mean, you can learn a little bit, but then it's pretty much the makeup of the individual. You know, you can learn a little bit about how to do it. But it's and a lot of our guys do it very quietly, which is okay also. Just play your assignment, play full speed. That's the best way to be a leader right there.
Different subject. How about assessing the way Connor's played? You know, the first game against East Carolina, a couple of fumbles hurt, but how about his development since he's got back in the starting lineup?
He's played about like we thought he would play. You know, we watch him practice all the time for 2 years now, and that's why he started the season. He practiced better than Stephen had, but he's coming around. He's coming around, and as we know now, he can really run with the ball, and that's a big part of our offense. Him running, and again, that's he's done a very good job. Takes care of the ball well. I don't know if he's fumbled since that first game, has he? Hope not. So maybe he got that one out of the way that first quarter in Charlotte. But yeah, he's a good player. You know, he led his high school team. I think they got beaten in the semifinals before the state championship. So the kid, he's been around winning teams. He knows something how to play like a winner.
When he got hurt at Arkansas, what do you call him?
Arkansas.
Got sacked, coach
Oh yeah, that one, that late one. Yeah, that was a late one when he was back throwing. Yeah, I was thinking when he was running with it against East Carolina. Yeah, he got hit from the blind side. Yeah, we had a guard trying to play right tackle, didn't touch the guy. So I saw Tom Brady fumble last night too. Did you see that? Next question. Sometimes you can't see them coming. That's what that means. Yeah.
Steve, how important has the defense been to your success this year?
It's been very important, extremely important. You don't win a lot of low-scoring games unless you can play defense. It's been very important. Our red zone defense has been outstanding. Golly, Tennessee, Mississippi State. Go on and on some of those games. The red zone defense has won 2 or 3 games for us.
Steve, is it odd to you that you and Clemson don't seem to go head-to-head for more guys, given that you're so close and you both try to recruit this state? It just feels like there are not a lot of just straight-up USC-Clemson battles, recruiting-wise.
You know, that is interesting. You'd think there would be 5 or 6 every year, but it seems like maybe there's 2 or 3, maybe every year, at least, something like that. Maybe some more, I'm not sure. And there's probably, let's see, if I had to guess, I'd say between 3 to 5 every year. Something like that, in-state guys that choose either way. But it seems a lot of them grow up leaning one way or the other too. You know, if they're leaning one way, they usually go that way to either school. A lot of it, I really believe, is their formative years, maybe from 9th grade through 12th grade. They will sort of form an opinion. But it could change, but I think most often it doesn't.
How much can you tell about when your first meeting with the kid? Is that something you can tell? First time you sent your coach goes out and talks to him, you know this may be a Clemson guy, or this is one of our guys.
A little bit. You can tell a little bit. Usually, the high schools in the state are That's sort of a South, that's Carolina one, that's sort of a Clemson, and most kids from there go to Clemson. It falls in line like that a lot. Mhm.
Steve, we talked about how the kicking game didn't show the progress or improvement since the opening game. What area of the team has shown the most improvement?
The most improvement of the team, well, obviously, after the first two games, our defense got a whole lot better after East Carolina, Georgia. And so other than the defense, I think offensively, we've been really pretty much the same most of the time, I think. A lot of 2 touchdowns, drives in the course of the game. And hopefully our defense scored 1 or 2 if we had to. But I think the guys have just generally improved in most areas. Obviously not covering kickoffs, but the other areas we've generally improved a bit, I think.
Anything else for Coach?
All right. Look forward to seeing our fans out here Saturday night. Make it loud for them, quiet for us. All right.